Alright, so Kendrick Lamar dropped his surprise album GNX on Friday. So in this video, I'm going to be showing y'all how you can make boom bap style beats for Kendrick Lamar, similar to his songs Dodger Blue and Heart Part 6 on GNX. And of course, I'm going to be showing y'all my whole process of how I do this. So with all that being said, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so to start off with how I found the sample, I started by going to this website, samplet.io. The only thing I did was set the genre to soul, and I was just randomizing through a bunch of different samples until this one caught my ear. And I'll just play like the snippet that sounded interesting to me. It definitely had some bounce to it. I really like that soul vibe, especially with the guitar and the bass guitar and all that. I took that and I put it into FL Studio. I already have the beat done, but I'm just gonna go ahead and remake it and kind of explain my thought process behind it. So the first thing I did was opened up Serato sample and I dragged in the sample so I could get the tempo and the key. So in here, I got a tempo of 94.87. I just called it 95. And then the key that was given was F minor. So the first thing I did is I went up to my tempo here and I moved it up to 95. And then I dropped in my sample here. And then I started where that first transient was at the beginning. So right here, I'm just gonna chop off the end of it and then move it back like this. And then notice that the transients are a little bit off. So I think the tempo has to go down a little bit, but we can just right click on this, go to tap, and then just tap it in as we go. So this looks like it's closer to about 91, 92. So I think I've got it decently close. So I'm gonna double click on the sample and change it from resample to stretch. So then that way it stays the same, even if I change the tempo to like 130. The section that I really wanted was just like the first 8 measures. So what I did is I just went to the end here and chopped it off. And I think I'll actually take this too now that I've listened back to it. So I have my main chops ready right here, which is just these two. And notice how these aren't exactly on the grid. So what I'm gonna do to fix that is move this down here. And this one looks like it's pretty on grid. So I'm gonna just chop it at the transient here at 5 measures. And I'm gonna go to the top left of each of them, hit make unique. So now when I go ahead and time stretch these, if I time stretch it like this, it's not going to change the other ones. So I can get all of these to be exactly 4 measures in length. So I'm just going to go to this one right here, bring it down to 4, move that right there, and go to the end here, stretch this out. And then same thing for this one, stretch it out. All right, so now I have my basic 3 chops. And so what I'm going to do is render all this out as one audio clip. So I'm going to go to the master track, click on the red dot, hit Alt R, and then hit start to render it out. Now I have my full consolidated clip. And for the actual sampling, I don't want the drums and I don't think I'm going to include the bass. So what I'm going to do is double click on the sample, change it to stretch. So we're at the same 92 beats per minute. And I'm going to click on the top left and go to extract stems and extract all 4 of them. All right, so like I said earlier, I'm not going to include the drums. And now I have all of my instruments and all that. And they're all set to stretch because I set the original one to stretch. So now what I want to do is figure out what tempo I want. And so I kind of want a slower boom bap style. I feel like around the 90 BPM range, it's a little too fast. I think I'll probably move this to the low 80s range. So I'll just turn the metronome on. I'll set these to resample just so I can kind of get a vibe of the different pitch too. So 82 sounded pretty good, and I'm gonna figure out what is the nearest key to this. So I'm gonna go to stretch and just start playing with the pitch wheel and just change it back and forth until I get something close. So that's pretty spot on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put all of them to -200 so we're consistent. So I think we can go ahead and start throwing down some drums. And so the first drum sound that I started with was a Moog Bass, and I based it off of the original bass guitar pattern. I'm gonna go ahead to here and get this Moog Bass sound and just pencil in the bass guitar pattern. and I just went ahead and duplicated it for the rest of the 4. And so I just went ahead and threw in a few extra notes from the first half, most notably just these D sharp notes and then this little switch up at the end. And I took that and I layered it with a sub bass, which is the sub bass 2 preset from Citrus. What I did is I went to all the notes and I made them half the length. Now I've got that out the way, I'm gonna go ahead and just mute the bass guitar. And we can go ahead and start adding our drum sounds. So the first thing that I added was a snare. It's this. Most, if not all of them, are from the My Drum kit. I think it's from the My Drum kit too. But I just went ahead and put the snare on the 2nd and 4th beat of every measure. And then I went ahead and put down that hi-hat. And the final hi-hat pattern sounds something like this. And then I also put down this accent hi-hat. And then after the hi-hat, put down an open-it. Of course, to finish out the drums and really give it the groove, I put down that kick. And I think in the other arrangement, I ended up turning this down another half step. I think it ended up sounding something closer to this. And from here, I just went ahead and started arranging some of the melodies. So I had this simpler part, start out the verses. And brought that main melody back in. And just bring the vocal back for that second part. Go ahead and put all these drum sounds down. And then for the intro of this, I just kept the original sample, but of course pitched it down to the same as the rest of it. And then I moved this to this track right here, and I added an automation clip for the EQ. All this is just a bandpass. And then I went to where the EQ sits in the mixer track, right clicked on it and hit create automation clip. And once it was in here, all I did was just right click on the ends, click type in value, and then 0.6, so it gets this kind of filter effect to it. And then I threw down this riser crash from my resonance kit. And then also just for a little extra effect, I threw down this little chimes effect too. So y'all kind of get the gist of it, just a little chill, boom bap-ish type of beat. But I wanted this to be something that's kind of easy to listen to and also easy to write to as well. So didn't want to make it anything too complicated, nothing like that. All right, so that's going to do it for this one. Hope y'all enjoyed it and I hope y'all found it pretty helpful. Yeah, appreciate all y'all for sticking all the way to the end, and that's going to do it for me.